Hi. So this morning we are going to take a few minutes and look at how to do the modular grid in Illustrator. So if you go to your grid assignment, which is in your content management system, you will see a rubric for modular grid assignment. I already have that open. So let me just move this out of the way. And here we go. So here's our assignment grid, our assignment. And basically it tells us we need 8 artboards. We may need more than that, but let's just start with 8. So you're going to start with your Illustrator file. Now your file, the image that we're going to create, like this type of an image right here, what we're looking at, is going to end up being 11 by 11 inches. But I suggest that you actually create a new file. So we're going to go File, New in Illustrator, and we're going to put in our own numbers, and we're going to put in a width of 12 and a height of 18. Okay, and so we are going to create it on a bigger piece of paper than what we would have normally thought, because there isn't a paper that's cut to 11 by 11. So this way, when you go to print it in the printer, it will be, you know, what it's supposed to be. And then you're going to put in modular grid underscore and then your last name. Okay, and then by artboards, we're going to start with 8. Okay. And this is a vertical orientation. It doesn't really matter. We can go horizontal. It doesn't really matter. We're going to keep it in CMYK, high resolution, and say create. All right, so here's our images. Now the first thing we want to do is turn our rulers on. So we're going to go to View, and we're going to go down to Rulers. And the fast key to turn our rulers on is that Command R or Control R. So now that we have our rulers on, we're going to come over to the edge of our page. And we're going to find, so if we notice here, you'll see this is 8 inches. So this would be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we probably want to go somewhere in a half. So somewhere right about there, because we're looking at, so we want to be able to see where that is. So if we don't like that, we can always change it by going up here to this little X bar and dragging it right to the edge of our paper. Okay, so once we've done that, now we've zeroed out, like this is 0. Notice this is 0. So if I'm over here on my paper, it shows me where the 0 is. So let's go back to our instructions. And so our instructions tell us that we need to have 2 by 2 inch squares, and that the top border and the bottom border should be 3/4 of an inch each. Your gutters will be 1/2 inch each. So let's try and figure that out. So let's zoom in to our first page. So we're going to go Command 0, which takes us to our first page. And there we can see our 0, we're not quite where we want to be. We want to be right on that edge. So there's our 0. Actually, let's move it even over a little bit more. It should be right up there. There we go. So our 0 starts right on the edge of our page. And we know that we want 3/4 of an inch. We know that this is our first our 1 inch mark. So that means this mark right here would be 3/4. So let's go ahead and draw that, put that in there. So there's our 1 inch, there's our 3/4. And what does our guide say again? Let's look. So it says we want to have 0.75 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom. So let's do that. Let's drag this down. There's our 0. And there's our 1 inch, so this would be our 3/4 inch. So now we've put that in. Okay, so the next problem that we have is where's our 3/4 inch over here? So if we know this is 11 and this is our 12 inch, that means our 3/4 inch is going to be right there. So let's go ahead and bring that one in. So we're going to get our sides, our tops, and our bottoms done, right? So there's our 11 inch. This would be our 3/4 inch. Let's go down to the bottom. So we know this is 18. So this says here, what does that say? It says 16. So that means this is 17. That means that's our 3/4 inch. So let's go ahead and bring that in. There's our 17 mark. There's our 3/4 inch mark. So now we've basically created borders all the way around our page that are 3/4 of an inch. So our next step is to do our 2 inch piece, right? So there's a couple different ways we could do that. I think our best way would be to go ahead and re-zero our grid. So see how our ruler, we're re-zeroing it. And now we want to have a 2-inch border with a 1/2 inch gutter, right? So we know that this is 0 and this is 2. So if we put our mark right at 2 inches, whoops, Command C, let's make sure it's right on 2 inches. Now we've laid that out. So now all we have to do is get a 1/2 inch in there, right? So if we know this is 3 inches, that means our 1/2 inch is right here. So let's go ahead and bring that in. So there's our 1/2 inch. So see how they're smaller? It's pretty good. Okay, now let's re-zero our grid again. And this time we'll go right to this corner again. And now we're going to go to our 2-inch mark. And we're going to go to our 1/2 inch mark. Hopefully I did my math right. And now we're going to go to our next re-zeroing. And we're going to go to our 2-inch mark. And then we're going to go to our 1/2 inch mark. And it looks like I'm off. Let's just see here. Let me re-zero again. No, I think I'm okay. So there's our 2-inch mark. And so I'm slightly off. So this grid, this area is going to have, and that's because this is 12 inches. So I could take this grid line, just for the heck of it, maybe. Let me get there. I'm going to just make another one. So I'm going to put that one at my 1/2 inch. There. Okay. So now because this is all I really care about are these. And later on, we're going to get rid of our grids anyways, but right now we're just using them as a way to make our lines. Okay, so now we have to do the ones going up and down. So let's go ahead and make those. And so there's our 0 mark, and there's our 0 mark. So we're going to go to the 2-inch. And then we're going to go to the 1/2 inch. And then we're going to 0 again. And let me keep going. Whoops. Let's hide that. Okay, 0 again. I think what I needed to do is actually add a gutter over on this side as well, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. We just want to get our, our initial grid in here. We want 4 across. Okay, so let me see where we're at. We get our 1/2 inch in here. 0 again. This is the easiest way to do it, really, is to just keep moving your 0 point. And you guys can bring it back to wherever when you're done. That's pretty good. And we want 4 up and 4 down. So what do we have so far? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're basically, no, I think we want, wait, let me just take a look at our thing here. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So this is it. So this is what we want. We're in good shape right here. So I think it's actually a little smaller than I originally anticipated. So let me go ahead and start putting in my lines. So when I zoom out, I'm going to, come out here and I'm going to make a line. And I'm just going to use and notice how it shows me where my line is. Like I've got that pink thing, that pink guide, smart guide. So if I hold my shift key down and I go straight down, my line will be perfectly straight. Okay, so there's my line. It's black. I'm just going to change it to blue or maybe red. How about red? There we go. And then I'm going to make it 1 inch. So if I zoom in, I should be able to see this. So let's get off of it. So there's my red line, right? So now how many of these do I need? Well, I need a bunch. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 horizontal red lines. So I have to copy this 9 times. So Command C, Command V, there's 2. Let me bring this over by the other one. Command C, Command V, now I've got 4. I think I have all. Okay, Command C, Command V. Now I should have 8. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to just take a couple of them. You might as well take them all. All right, Command C, oops, not Command X. Command C, Command V. Now I should have 16. And that's more than I need. And there they all are. So let's zoom back into our original board. And there's our lines. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our lines one at a time, and we're going to just line them up. And see how they should snap right to the grid. And that's perfect. And so we're just going to keep going and kind of line them up as nicely as we can. Because in the end of the day, what we're going to do is we're going to trim this paper. So this is just... it doesn't really matter if it's perfect down here because you're going to trim it out. And there I'm lining them all up. I'm using my arrow keys, just make it a little easier sometimes. There it is, it's like nicely lined. Let's bring in these other ones a little closer. Okay. Keep going. That looks pretty good. And one more. Oops, not tall enough. And then we want one for the edge of our paper. And what I could do is I could actually create this as a guide for you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ones I made already, and I'm going to turn them horizontally. So if I hold my shift key, they'll turn at equal 45-degree angles, and there they are. Now they're perfectly horizontal. Oh, I missed 2 of them. That's okay. I'll go back and get them. So let me put this one in. And obviously it needs to go way down here, a little too far. Use my arrow keys and line it up. So see how I'm permanently putting in all my lines. Okay. I know, this is like watching paint dry. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get this one in. Anyways, and so you would continue doing this until you had them all where they need to be. And it looks like, did I miss one there? Nope, it's there. I just want to make sure. Okay. And now let's go down. There we go. Let's get these last 2, and we're going to need more. So I'm going to command and hold my shift key, and then command C, Command V, make a couple more horizontal ones, drag them in kind of into position, sort of. And start using my arrow keys and just drag them all together. And so what will happen is once I turn my grid off, you know, I can hide my grid, and then I can group these all nicely. And looks like I have two here. Or no, I just have one. Oh, that's because that pink line really confuses you. That pink, the pink smart guide. Oh, come on. Okay, and then let me grab this one. So see that little X? That's our center point. Kind of gives you an idea where things are. All right, and that one I've got to move over because it's too far over. And it's not on the line. So I'm going to move it down and move it back over. So what I can do, maybe, I think it's just one. Hopefully it's just one. All right, so these are pretty close. Okay, so what I can do now, I still have that one set of lines to go. So I'll just grab these two that I made, Command C, Command V. I know they're the right distance. I'm going to bring them together and drag them down here together. So I could have done that all along, but you know, I did it the slow way. Sorry about that. All right, now at this point, I can turn my guides off. So if I go to View and I go to Guides, I can say Hide Guides. Now I just see the lines that I made. So at this point, I can group these lines really nicely. So grab them all. Oh, it looks like I have an extra one out here. I knew I had an extra one somewhere. Let's delete that one. Okay, let's go ahead and grab all these lines. Command C, Command V. But before I do that, let's group them. So Command G. Now they're grouped together. So whenever I grab them, they're going to come together. So if I come all the way out of here, I don't need to mess with my rulers or guides or anything anymore. All I got to do is drag these over, right? So let's just put them back where they were and then copy them. Command C, Command V, make our second set and drag them over. And Command V and drag them over. There we go. And I would continue doing that. So then I would go ahead, make sure that these are on their own layer. So let's take a look. Let's look at our layers. There they are. I will call this guidelines, right? And then I would just be able to turn, you know, lock these when I'm ready. And then at some point I can bring these down to all my other boards. But then when I want to show what it looks like without it, all I have to do is unlock them, grab the one that I don't want, and hit delete on that particular guide. So if I hit delete, then that one's gone. Command C. So I hope that helps everyone with how to set up this form. I can definitely save this and upload it as well to the website, and you can mess around with it a little bit more. All right, and then if you want to turn your guides back on at any point, all you have to do is go to View, Guide, Show. And there they are again. But see how I was able to just bring this grid over to all the different, you know, areas, and then I can start bringing my type in and using this accordingly. I hope that helps everyone with how to set up a grid manually and do it, you know, with your own kind of, in your own way. So, all right, talk to you next.